Hi, we're back here with the stolen home of Logan. Okay, like I said, in 14 I filed lawsuit 141330. It was handled in federal court. Now you got to understand, the federal judges are appointed by Congress and senators. In fact, in my lawsuit, I acknowledged that fact, that the very senator's office that I'm suing had triumphed over appointing this particular judge to the court, federal court, which oversees Independence Hall. That is important because the Constitution was written right up the street. And if these judges need to read the Constitution, I'm sure a park ranger a block away during a lunch hour will provide them with a booklet so that they can read all the amendments to the Constitution, as if they aren't written in stone on Independence Mall at various portions. Okay. Now we're back to the original case was thrown out by the judge because she said that it's eminent domain. The government wants to pay you, but they aren't going to pay you in this court. And that's like Kmart finding me with the sneaker and me saying, well, I'm going to pay you for the sneaker, but I'm not going to pay you here. I want you to meet me somewhere else and I'll pay you over there. If they have the money, why can't they pay me in any court? Why can't they pay me before we go to court? Maybe I don't get the joke. Okay, now we're back to 141330. Well, the judge decided to throw that case out, and I appealed the 144056. Now, 144056 is in the appellate court at 6th and Market, overlooking Independence Hall. It's on a higher floor, so they can definitely see if they look out their window, Independence Mall there in the background. Now, you got to understand that those judges are also appointed by the people that are being sued. Some of those judges are directly related to some of the people that were politicians at the time that this occurred. And I think if you look at the last names, you can figure out who I'm talking about. So, how would you, as an average citizen, like to fight this battle without a lawyer? Because remember, the ACLU refuses to take care of me. They're dealing with immigration issues. Okay. Now, a couple quotes for you here. All that is necessary to triumph, for evil to triumph, is that good men do nothing. Edwin Burke. Of animals, man is the only one that is cruel. He is the only one that inflicts pain for the sheer pleasure of doing it. Mark Twain. And then we already talked about the Thomas Jefferson. Two enemies of the people are criminals in government. Let's tie the government down with the change of the Constitution so the government does not become the legalized version of criminals. Eric Holder was in town. Now, I had to file a second lawsuit because the first lawsuit wasn't really going anywhere and didn't encompass all the crimes committed to me. So, the second lawsuit was filed in December 2014. It is 146880. And somehow, even though it got assigned to a different judge, it got commandeered by the judge to handle the first case. And guess what she tried to do? She tried to throw it out also, violating judicial canons 1 and 2 by the Bar Association, because she has a vested interest in the case. She wasn't supposed to be a judge. She was supposed to be a magistrate. Magistrate's like a justice of the peace. Justice of the peace can't do it, can't marry people who don't want to be married. I asked for a jury trial in both cases. I was told that the government doesn't want to give you a jury trial because this case is so sensitive that thousands, now this was in a document that I received from a government attorney, it would potentially open up thousands of government cases against them. In other words, they know they have broke the law so many times that they are afraid to give this case to a jury because they may have to pay not only me, but thousands of other people. Thousands of other people. And that's just in Philadelphia. Sounds constitutionally compliant, doesn't it? Isn't the government supposed to be bound by the Constitution, as Jefferson said? Okay. Now, Eric Holder recently said that there's a legitimacy crisis in America. People want to feel safe. The people want to have a sense that they're being treated fairly. Now, Eric Holder is the Attorney General. Now, the Attorney General's office in Philadelphia, and I believe it's Mr. Kaufman, might be wrong, don't sue me, who is representing the office of the president and some of the government federal officials. So therefore, Mr. Holder, who is his boss, says that people just want to be safe and secure in their personages. The people want to have a sense that they're being treated fairly. But yet, the U.S. Attorney General the U.S. Attorney General's office in Philadelphia refuses to investigate this. And they are protesting my lawsuit, even though the government does have my property now 2 years later. And they're making me feel safe and secure while confiscating my private property. Okay. Now, we go to a quote from Mark Twain. Shouldn't a senator or a president's word be better than the average person? Shouldn't the president or the senator keep his word? Or any public official? We elect them to represent us. Shouldn't their word be trusted? Then we get to the new office of the governor of Pennsylvania. We just elected a new governor, Tom Wolf. I have nothing against the man. I haven't dealt with him personally. I explained my story to him when he was in town with Mrs. Obama, and I was out front with a protest sign. And he wanted to inquire as to what was going on. Now, he's only been in office a short period of time, but I have had no communication with him, though I have tried to contact him. Now, this is a quote from Tom Wolf about a gentleman that was getting fired because of corruption charges. And he asked him to resign, so he resigned. I'm sorry, he wasn't fired. I believe he resigned. But again, don't quote me on this. As elected leaders, we should be stewards of democracy. Well, he's a little wrong there because we're a republic. A republic is different from a democracy because in a democracy, if you're one of 50 homeowners and 49 of them vote to take your house without paying it, then in a democracy, you're allowed to do that. In a republic, we have laws. So the laws defend the minorities in any sense. In other words, they can take your property, but the law says they have to pay you for it, which is my particular case. If you are in question of this, there's several YouTube sites that say, are we a republic or a democracy? And they explain the whole process. And some of them do handle property issues and stuff like that. But we cannot just hang people who we think are guilty. They have to have due process of the law to make sure that they are guilty and it's not just hearsay. Like this case, where there's several newspaper articles that back up my claims and state and the government has their name on my deed and I haven't been paid. So therefore there are clear facts to be tried by a jury. And it's required to in the Constitution for anything over $20. And my house was worth more than $20. Even the housing authority said they wanted to pay me $100 for it. So I don't understand why we can't have a jury trial, except that what they did was wrong. And if you got a jury trial, then we're embarrassed by this. But anyway, I digress. We get back to Mr. Wolf's comments. As elected leaders, we should be stewards and we should act to protect hardworking taxpayers, not take advantage of them. This type of behavior leads to erosion of public trust. It is simply unacceptable, and I stand firm with my commitment to restore the public's trust in their government. That is a commendable comment, Mr. Wolf. That is a commendable comment. And I do like our Calder's comment too. The problem is, since the governor's office is also named in the lawsuit and also fighting the lawsuit, which is technically treason, I know you're the new guy on the job, but possibly you could apply your speech towards solving this situation. It would be greatly appreciated by this fellow citizen. Okay, I'm going to read the laws that apply. I'm going to read some laws that you need to know as a public while watching these videos. We'll put it that way. Hope you come back to the next video. Thank you very much. Joe the Mechanic 5, Gmail, contact information, Joe the Mechanic, the number 5, Gmail. Thank you very much.